This is your tech moment. No privacy remains. Most of us would like to think our phones are part of our zone of privacy. With thumbprint and facial recognition, constant updates, and app permissions, we cling to our little corner of the universe as a private space in our public digital lives. It isn't. In fact, our convenient personal tech may be the greatest compromise of our personal safety. Who thinks about the security of voicemail? Multi-channel and telecom operators really should. Until shake and stir becomes the norm at the end of this year, spoofed numbers could be a serious hacking concern. Everyone should rethink how voicemail security works and always use a PIN or password and two-factor authentication if it's available. Lack of security in voicemail on traditional and VoIP could prove embarrassing, as it did for Brazil's populist leader who used Telegram, believing it was secure. Knowing that the NSA makes a digital backup of nearly everything, it's not a great time to be in the secrets business or to be engaged in illegal or immoral activity. Even text messages are unsafe. Google determined that a malformed text sent to Apple devices could compromise them. Like email, text messages can be used to phish victims into giving over control of their devices and all they contain. Androids aren't safe either. Businesses should immediately halt BYOD, in my opinion. How often might you share personal information with a banker over the phone to prove your identity? Worried that someone might overhear the telephone conversation? It's a real concern. But if you have a smart speaker of any brand or an Apple Watch, it may be prudent to distance yourself before having any private conversations, because if the speaker is listening, a person is listening. Big Tech made sure you opted in with an agreement you didn't read. Who exactly has access to your private cloud data? When developers or engineers are working on the physical or logical connections to information, audit trails should show what work was done, what data was accessed, and why. Clearly, Amazon hasn't gotten this figured out yet with so many stories of insecure container services. Can government, who has not proven a good protector of information, outsource military and social services to systems that, like the Capital One banking disaster, are mission critical for delivery and require unique ID audit tracking? If not, can we trust voting platforms that use the same thing? Amazon Web Services used Capital One as a case study to show off their innovative platform. If programmers and engineers have vast access to the data on the back end, can they change it? Are these audit trails used to create facts used in court cases reliable? Can hackers rewrite our digital identities to deperson us or plant evidence like illegal pornography? Can nation states? Can our own government? Our reliance on digital systems is too great. It's time to revisit how convenience has traded away security. Updates to HIPAA and PCI rules are needed. We aren't using rotary phones anymore. We can update our technology to be more secure without compromising privacy to China, GCHQ, and the NSA, right? We can opt out of video monitoring when we don't know the camera is on, right? Don't we own our image, our own bodies? What happens when personal safety of consumers is at risk simply by going about our business? When our federal government can't protect its employees and police departments can't ensure the safety of their own, do consumers even stand a chance? With more data harvested and more breaches going public, laws still put the onus on victims to prove the harm done to them personally. A frequent defense by Big Tech is that the victim was involved in multiple breaches, so how can the harm be attributed to just one? This reduces the damage payout if there even is one. Negligence is tied to a duty of care for consumers to make a claim of malpractice or harm under tort law. Look at the Equifax breach, which exposed at least half of all Americans. we should expect that penalties would curb their behavior. Money for those who can prove harm, or laughably, free credit monitoring from them for years in lieu of cash, meaning that you opt in to get their surveillance. Instead, Equifax leaders are getting bonuses. What we need are laws that ensure that those who engage in behavior farming for profit, whether to socially score us with FICO or to sell our preferences to advertisers, have a legal responsibility as conservators of that data lake. And when they pollute it or expose it to others, causing harm to consumers, the penalties should be so severe that they never make that mistake again. States like California and New York are catching on. Credit should be frozen by default, not after a fee is paid. Do we need a federal statute? Considering that the reach of tracking is global and the potential damage is permanent and debilitating, and there is no opting out for anonymity, I believe we should examine GDPR and write federal laws that regulate the handling of personal data like a controlled substance. Big Tobacco continues to profit from what is essentially poison, but the consumer has a choice to opt out. Big Tech does not give consumers a way to opt out. It's virtually impossible to exist in modern society without incidentally being tracked, recorded, and violated. Surveillance companies have an immense responsibility to ensure they protect that information they've harvested. Unlike passwords, biometrics like fingerprints, fixed data like birth dates, and other uniquely identifying information cannot be changed. For Big Tobacco, the health effects are nearly irreversible and may cause death. Our digital reputation, resources, and our physical safety are in peril. Please help me out by sharing this article and others that you find on this site across your social media. Thanks for listening to Your Tech Moment.